In recent weeks, if you've been paying attention to the news, you've probably been hearing at least something about rare earths. But what are rare earths? Where do they come from? What do they do? What are they used for? And how might they impact geopolitics going forward? In this video, we're going to address those questions. So I am not a geologist. And so if I murder of any of these elements, forgive me. All right, I took rocks for jocks in college, but that's about the extent of it. But I have been reading about them a lot over the past couple of weeks. And there are 17 rare earths. And basically they were originally found in Sweden. And some of them are named after the town that they were originally found in, Ytterby, I believe is how you pronounce it. But anyway, basically these elements that are like soft metals primarily have been found to be very useful in the creation of magnets and all sorts of things that are associated with 21st century technology. They're used in batteries and wind turbines and jet engines and just everything. Cell phones. They're really, really, really vital to the economy. And one thing that the first thing people should know is that, even though we hear the term rare earth, they're actually not that rare. They're really widespread. They're actually quite common. The problem what makes them kind of rare is that they're spread thinly across the Earth's surface, okay? And they're also mixed in with other minerals, so it's very hard to refine to get down to the good stuff. And of the 17 rare earths, there are 5 that are of particular import. And again, I'm going to murder these names probably, but as I've gone through and kind of looked over things for the essay I did in Against Crony Capitalism, and as I've looked over things for this video, the first one is neodymium, which is used in jet engines and all sorts of stuff. And there's cerium, which is used in electric batteries. Lanthanum, which is used in petroleum refining and and is used in batteries. Praseodymium. Okay, I probably killed that, but that is used in super strong magnets. And then there's dysprosium. Okay, and that is used in super magnets, what they call permanent magnets. I guess things can demagnetize, but they have these magnets, these really, really super powerful magnets that I guess don't demagnetize, and these elements are very important in that. Anyway, these elements are key to our economy as we go forward. If you want cell phones, if you want Teslas, if you want F-35 Joint Strike Fighters, you're going to need to have access to these rare earths. But we got a big problem, and that is, though these rare earths are spread across the earth fairly evenly, and they're not that rare, one country controls the refining of these rare earths, and that is China. China refines 90%, maybe more than that, of rare earths currently. Now, let's think about this. That cell phone that you have in your hand, all right, or the electric car in your driveway. Or think of this, the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, our crowning jewel of aviation in this country, has 400 kilograms of rare earths, and much of those rare earths were refined in China. That is probably not the best, let's when we're squaring off with China, let's say, God forbid, something were to get real, things were to get much nastier, much hotter than they are currently with China. I don't know that I would want to rely on China for my rare earth supply. Well, the Trump administration feels the same as me, and they have moved to ramp up our rare earth industry, which existed at one point. Basically, the Chinese have gone in over the years, over the past couple of decades, and systematically undermined the industry in other countries. And there's the people have said that they've dumped and essentially undermined industries in these different countries with lower pricing and all that sort of thing. Hey, I'm all for lower prices, frankly. Okay, that's a good part of free trade. But but they've undermined the business, the industries in other countries through other means too. I mean, for instance, the refining of these elements or these minerals, essentially breaking them out, is a nasty, nasty business. And the regulations are not exactly heavily enforced in China. Whereas in the United States, we probably enforce them to an extent that is, it absolutely. I mean, we have enforced our regulations to the point that it essentially killed an industry, and now we are, hamstrung. We essentially are 5 years away from having a viable rare earths industry, and we just started rolling. Now, we just penned an agreement with Australia to get things really rolling. Now, again, we have the second largest proven reserves of rare earths in the United States, and again, we used to have a rare earths refining industry. So, we could get this going again. But Australia has a ton of rare earths also. Thing is, even though we're going to import some of that rare dirt from Australia, it still has to be refined, and it still has to be refined in China at this point. Now, there's an effort to ramp up refining, that's got to be key. And, we say this as small, teeny tiny government libertarian people who are against crony capitalism. Let's just say that there are going to be some people who, as the effort is going to be made to ramp up the refining of rare earths, and it's absolutely necessary. There are going to be boondoggles tied into this thing for sure. But we also believe, we definitely believe that you cannot, in the 21st century, you cannot just hand 90% of, refining of rare earths, these key components to a 21st century economy, to China, to the world's ultimate crony capitalist state. That's frankly, the fact that we have allowed that to happen is a massive mistake, strategic mistake made by thousands of people in positions of power. This should never have happened. Anyway, until next time, this is Nick Sorrentino.